Hello everyone. This is Suri, and I'm here at Cremches reviewing movies and shows and watching stuff that is truly good and curating content for you. So, you can kind of look up recommendations on this channel and, not have to brave through mediocre or bad films or bad shows. And I really want to thank everybody for watching the last video I put out for Kiki's Delivery Service. If you've not watched my review on that, please go and check it out. And thank you so much for sticking along with this channel because it has been an erratic couple of weeks. The scheduling has been a bit changed, and I'm really glad that people are kind of catching up with these new changes and still continuing to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And anything you share with your friends, do let me know in the comments that that I like this review because of so and so reasons, and it really helps me, come up with better formats and better recommendations in the future. So do let me know through comments or um, we also have an Instagram channel. You can also reach out to us over there under the same name, Cremches. Do let me know over there if there are particular movies or shows you want me to review. And it could be kind of nice to get some recommendations from you guys as well. Um, Today, I want to kind of go a bit into a movie that has been in my top three movies for several years now. And the reason this movie is so dear to my heart is because one, it came out, many years ago when this kind of story format and storytelling wasn't very well known. It was also about characters that were very, like day-to-day people. They weren't larger than life people, larger than life characters. They didn't have something, phenomenally elaborate and had these amazing action sequences or anything of that sort. It was just a story about three friends. And I was talking about this movie with a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and there's this one particular scene which really it really hits. His name is Farhan Akhtar, and he's made some really interesting movies. He's made Dawn 1 and 2 and 3. And he's made Laksha, which is another great Indian film. He's also acted in a lot of movies. He's a fantastic actor. He's acted in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, which we have talked about on this channel extensively. We might do a separate review for that movie itself. And he's done Rock On. He's done Bhag Milka Bhag. Like he is a really good actor, and he's done some very good work in Indian cinema. And the reason I really admire the work he has done is because of the range he has covered in his acting career. But because of that, his directorial pursuits have been not as many, but whenever he did come out with something, there was even a short movie he made which was really good. Whenever he came out with a movie, it was really worth investing one's time in, and really worth watching, I guess. I mean, enjoying and diving into with regards to your own cinematic experiences. And that's why I really adore him. I really think that he is very important to Indian cinema because, one, he kind of introduced the concept of storytelling from the perspective of experiences and ambience and vibes and stuff like that, which I thought was very important because we are now, I mean, this is again the age of RRR, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Parasite, like all of these movies, they have a big something. They have a big plot line. They have big characters. They have a big twist. They have a social message or something of some kind. But some movies aren't about those things. Some movies are just about people. And Dil Chahta Hai was one of those movies that had come out, which was the entire focus was about friendship and growing up and I know I keep bringing up coming of age cinema, but the reason I do that so often is because coming of age cinema has gone way beyond, teen to adult years. This is also about the experiences you have as an adult and the coming of age you go through as an adult, where you're letting go of like older habits and issues and I guess anything that in some way brings you closer to a version of yourself that you feel more comfortable in. Because when you're a teenager, you're a child, you're kind of really just going along with what people are telling you to do, right? Like it's either your parents or your teachers. Sometimes it's peer pressure, which I mean, I'm sure all of us have been through. And the reason I think coming of age cinema is so important, especially considering the kind of generations that exist now simultaneously, is so that people can kind of see through documented cinema what everybody's experiences were. There's a lot of cinema which happened in the 2000s which won't really, kind of, I guess, translate well in today's times because well, there's problematic storylines, there's problematic characters, there's, um, a complete, I guess, misogyny of events as well, which happens a lot. Um, and there aren't enough call outs, you know, where a particular character, protagonist, if they're doing something stupid, the story never calls that out. It's just like, oh yeah, he's the hero, he can do whatever he likes. And this movie in particular did not have that. This movie is Dil Chahta Hai. So, Dil Chahta Hai, when translated into English, means what the heart wants. And I haven't seen a lot of movies that have had such a apt title to the storyline. Like I was saying earlier, me and my friend, we were talking about this movie and a particular scene in this movie where the three friends who what this movie is about. It's about Akash, Siddharth, and Sameer. These three friends, they are extremely well, they're very close to each other, obviously, but they're also extremely different people. So there is Akash, who's like this rich, bratty brat kind of a person, and then there is Sameer, who's this, this love addicted, serial monogamist kind of a guy, and then there is Sameer, who's, and then there's Siddharth, who's, um, he's an artist and he's broody and moody and he's an introvert and he likes to be, um, like doing his art and he loves his friends. But he's the kind of guy that if you see him in a club, he'll be like scribbling on a piece of tissue paper and kind of like trying to get a quick sketch in. They have depicted the concept of the introvert and the extrovert in such a good way in this movie, where they've shown Siddharth, the artist's character, to not be someone who's socially shy, just to be a person who prefers the company of very few people he trusts, or himself, and then they show Sameer, who's like this, he sees a woman, he sees one common thing between her and him, and he's in love. And he's very adorable and charming as well. So, and then you see Akash, who's very against, love and very against being coupled up and wants to be independent always. And you just see that each of them are kind of fulfilling some combination of the other. And this movie has had a brilliant star cast. It's had Amir Khan playing Akash. It has Sameer, that is played by Saif Ali Khan, and Siddharth, that is played by my favorite, Akshay Khanna. And Siddharth's character is my favorite character. This movie also has some of the greats in it, like, Dimple Kapadia is in this film. She has played a role in this movie, which, first of all, she has this amazing allure and mystery, which when you see this character for the first time on the scene, I think her name is Tara in the film, and she's just phenomenally mysterious and beautiful. And they have written her character in a way that makes complete sense to exist in the real world. And that's why this movie is very special, because every character has some contribution to the storyline that's, like pushing it along. Now, these three friends, they are kind of inseparable. And you see this entire introductory scene, like the scene opens with Akshay Khanna's character calling up Amir Khan and Saif Ali Khan and going, "You guys have to get home quickly. Like, I need you guys to come home quickly." And Amir Khan gets completely nervous and he's like, "Oh my God, let's go right now. We have to go. He needs us." And they rush into his house. And Akshay Khanna's mom opens the door and goes like, "What's going on?" So, where is Akshay? And they kind of run inside and they see Akshay Khanna kind of just relaxed, just standing in front of his painting. And nothing's happened, but he said, "Yeah, I had to show you guys this painting the second I was done. That's why I called you up. Why? What did you think?" And he's just like silly that way, and he just like to tease and make fun of his friends in that way. But Amir Khan kind of stands in front of the painting and goes, "Oh my God, that is beautiful. Like, who is that?" And it's like this image of this woman with her bare back, like towards the audience, and Saif Ali Khan is kind of like, "What is wrong with you? Why would you talk to us in a way that made it seem like you were in danger or something?" And you just see Amir Khan kind of going, "I know who this is. I recognize her. I think she used to be a math tuition teacher in 10th grade." And the guys are like, "Wait, really?" And he kind of like goes into explaining that he probably lost his virginity to, that woman at some point. So there's some very interesting foreshadowing happening over here. They're talking about a younger guy and an older woman. They're talking about forbidden stuff. They're talking about love, but like taboo. And this is how close they are as friends. They shared everything. The poster of the movie where Akash, or Amir Khan's character, has like a black eye. And that's the poster of the film. And you have no explanation as to why he has a black eye, because it's not an action film. And he's just sitting on the car on the car's hood with his friends, Saif Ali Khan and Akshay Khanna. And you kind of get a sense of what Amir Khan's character Akash is. He's basically a person who just has no regard, no consideration for others. And you get to see through the movie why he has a black eye as well. And they don't explain that in the posters or the trailer, but they do give you a glimpse or a nuance of that when you watch the movie. So the movie kind of happens in 3 parts. The first is the introduction, where they are just graduated and now trying to decide what they're going to do with their lives. The second part is where they go to Goa for a trip and they kind of just have fun and hang out as friends. And there's the scene, again, I keep saying there's a scene, but the scene is where they're sitting, watching the ocean, and they see a ship. And Akshay Khanna, being the artist and the broody person of the group, kind of goes, "This ship is like us, right? It's kind of going further and further away, and we will also be further and further away from each other as life progresses, and we won't be as close as we grow up." And the other 2 friends kind of just tell him to not worry so much and not overthink things, and they have full faith in their friendship. They're like, "Well, no matter what happens, we'll still be friends. Like, it doesn't matter if we are far away from each other." And the beauty of the story is everything leads to the next plot line. And from this instance, Akshay Khanna kind of runs into a woman played by Dimple Kapadia, who is immediately infatuated by. And she's a much older woman. She's a divorcee and she has a daughter. And he is immediately in love with her and he's enchanted by her. And once they're back from Goa, the second phase of the story starts, where you start seeing them kind of go off doing their own thing. So Amir Khan's parents tell him, "You have to go to Australia to handle the family business. You can't just hang out here after graduation." Saif Ali Khan's family starts introducing girls so that, he can get married. So everybody's kind of getting involved in whatever, their family expectations are and societal expectations and stuff like that. And Akshay Khanna goes deep into, starting his own exhibitions, his own art stuff. And so you already see them kind of little by little drifting apart. And I don't want to say what exactly happens, but 2 friends of the 3 So Akash, Amir Khan's character, and Siddharth, Akshay Khanna's character, they get into a fight over something, and it's a very dumb, petty thing that they get over a fight in. But they do fight, and they can, kiss and make up, but they decide not to. And basically, friendship over. Bye. I'm done. And the music of this movie that is composed by Shankar Ehsaan and Loy, and if you have not heard them, please just look up Shankar Ehsaan Loy, Dil Chahta Hai songs, or any of their songs. They are phenomenal musical artists. They have composed a song, and I forget who it is written by, but there is a stanza in it which goes, "Kaisa jab ye safar hai, socho to har ek bekhabar hai, kisko jana kidhar hai, jo waqt aaye jaane kya dikhaye." And it's in Hindi, and it basically means this is such a weird journey. If you go to think, everyone is unaware of what comes next. And because they're unaware of what comes next, we don't know where life will take us. So we don't know what time will show us. And the fact that we're together on this journey at all is in itself strange. So the movie is about that, about not knowing what comes next once you are kind of an ex-teenager. You're not even an adult. You're just kind of figuring your stuff out. Now, the third part of the movie is where the three friends kind of are truly separated from each other, geographically, emotionally, of course, physically. And Akash, who is very against love and stuff like that, he has a chance encounter with this girl who he isn't in love with, but is very curious of her, and he's always around her and likes to talk to her and be with her. And there's this particular scene where he and she are trying to board a train, and he runs into the train's compartment, and this happens when he's in Australia working at his dad's business. The train has like automatic doors, so it shuts. And this character that he meets in Australia, her name is she's played by Preeti Zinta, another great actress. She kind of can't run into the train as quickly as he does, so she gets locked out, and they're just like trying very hard to open the doors, and they're just staring at each other, and it's just a short interlude. It's not like they will never see each other again, but in that moment they feel so distanced and separated from each other that they don't know what to do, other than just helplessly watch, like them getting separated. And I'll put a picture of it, so you'll see what I'm saying. But that scene hits so close to my heart, because if I've ever been in love with a person, and something like this happens, where I won't see them for maybe, a couple of hours, couple of days, doesn't matter. But if I know I'm not going to see them for a while, I'm going to be separated from them, the anxiety that comes from that, where you're like, oh my God, like, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling so anxious? And the realization that, oh my gosh, I'm in love, they have depicted that so well. Farhan Akhtar, he has done such a great job in depicting those little moments between those characters. And I just hope that, when you watch this movie, you see what I'm seeing, and, it doesn't, because in my brain, sometimes I think like, did I just make that up in my brain? But the scenes in this movie, they constantly show you over and over again what the setup of the characters are, and it's very real, very human stories. And you kind of see Amir Khan reach an emotional crossroads where he's struggling. So, and of course he's lost the friendship of Akshay Khanna. So he's kind of sad, and he needs advice from someone, and he calls up what he thinks is Saif Ali Khan's number. But the person who answers the call turns out to be Akshay Khanna's mom. And she goes, hello, who's this? And this is, I guess, the time of no cell phone, so you can't tell who's calling. And he goes, oh, I'm Akash. Can I please talk to Sameer, which is Saif Ali Khan? And she goes, you're a strange little boy. You call up Akshay Khanna's home, Siddharth's home, and you ask for Sameer. And he realizes in that moment that in his most vulnerable times, he's reached out to a particular friend, and he's lost out on that friendship now. And there's a chapter of his life which is kind of gone now. It's in the past, and he can't return to that in any way. And the depression truly sinks in because now he's truly severed from a version of himself where everything was fine and there were no problems. And that's why this movie, it shows you over and over again what great storytelling is, what simplified storytelling is, where it's just about two people interacting. And if you see any of the scenes with Dimple Kapadia and Akshay Khanna, I don't want to kind of spoil what happens with Saif Ali Khan storylines because it's really funny and it's a lot of fun to watch and to, just like, it's just like comedic genius going on over there. But when you see Akshay Khanna and Dimple Kapadia's characters kind of interact with each other, when Akshay Khanna kind of asks, "Where's your daughter?" and you keep mentioning your daughter, but I've never seen her, and she says, "Well, my husband proved that I'm an alcoholic and took, my child away from me." And he goes, "You're not at all an alcoholic. You're a perfectly wonderful person." And she kind of just sits there like in complete adoration of the stranger who just suddenly became her friend one day, and says, it's too bad that the judge, wasn't you. You should have been the judge for my divorce case. And it's just these sweet little moments between these characters where you get to see one, human interaction in a very realistic way, natural dialogues, amazing, sets where you see like every apartment changing, every room of every character being different from, the next character. Because I sometimes notice that in movies where you just see the feel of the director in every set and you don't see the differences. Like every character should have a different living situation. Like for example, Akshay Khanna, when he shows her Dimple Kapadia his paintings for the first time, it's in like this little dark little basement kind of an attic kind of an area, and it's dingy. There isn't much light, but he's kept his paintings with a lot of love over there, and she's kind of like just walking through that room, seeing each and every one of his paintings, and it's a fantastic shot because you get to see what an artist's lair looks like, and it's very different from Akash's room and Saif Ali Khan's room, which is it's more boyish, it's more boyhood, it's more teenagey, more frat boy, and his is not that way. His is a little bit more grown up, a little bit more mature, which kind of explains how he falls for a much older woman, and that's kind of what the story is. So I don't want to go into the semantics of what happens once they reach the third part of the plot. I want you guys to watch it. I want you to enjoy it. If you've already watched it, you know what happens. So, why would I want to, repeat that and tell you again and again, it's a great film. It's a great film because it's a great film. Please watch it. Please let me know what you think about this review. I'd really, really appreciate all the information and all the shares and the likes and the views that the channel's getting, but it needs to get more. It needs to be bigger. It needs to reach more people so more people can watch great cinema. But please do watch Dil Chahta Hai. It's a fantastic Indian movie. It was way ahead of its time. It was made with characters that were lovable and were well written and realistic. So please let me know what you think about it. And when I say realistic, I should probably put some context over there. These are people who are upper middle class. So yeah, going to Australia to manage your dad's business, like obviously like a middle class person won't be able to do that. But it's realistic in terms of dialogues and characters and character development. So do check it out and do let me know what you think about it. And I will see you soon. Bye.